Hello, my name is Catherine Denzer, and I'm a Human Services major here at Liberty University. My long-term career goal is to work in community outreach and event planning services, where I have the opportunity to connect individuals and families with resources and support services that improve their overall quality of life. Throughout my military career, I have volunteered in various different organizations, both in the private and military sectors, and encompassing these experiences have shown me how impactful having a strong community can positively impact people's lives. This course has helped me better understand how research can answer important questions and provide evidence that supports effective programs and services. One of the reasons I chose this topic is because I've seen firsthand how volunteering brings people together and creates a stronger sense of community. Throughout my time volunteering throughout the years with different military organizations and private organizations, I've noticed that people who become involved often build meaningful connections and friendships, develop support systems, and feel more connected to those around them. The research I reviewed supports those experiences. For example, Chaffin-Williams explained that communities with higher levels of volunteer participation tend to have stronger social connections because volunteering encourages people to work together and support one another. Their findings also suggest that volunteering benefits not only the individuals who give their time, but also the overall strength and well-being of within the community. This idea also reflected in a study by Crouch and colleagues where they examined military spouses living overseas. Their research depicts that social connectedness plays an important role in improving the health and well-being of military families. While their study focused solely on military spouses rather than volunteerism specifically, it also demonstrates how having supportive relationships and a sense of belonging can make an incredibly meaningful difference during challenging times. In contrast, people who are not involved in their communities may be more likely to experience social isolation, have fewer support networks, and miss opportunities to build relationships or have access to valuable community resources. This is especially important for military families because of how often they relocate and they always have to rebuild their support systems every single time that they move. This is why I believe studying volunteer participation and community engagement is important, not only to understand how it benefits volunteers or the organizations, but also how it strengthens the individuals that they serve and communities as a whole. This specific research question I would like to study is, how does volunteer participation contribute to community resilience and social connectedness? During my research, and to learn more about this topic, I reviewed 2 peer-reviewed journal articles found within the Jerry Falwell Library. The first article by Chaffin-Williams discusses the relationship between volunteering and social cohesion. The authors explain that people who feel connected to the communities are more likely to volunteer, and volunteering in turn strengthens those communities' relationships and connectedness within their atmosphere and environment. This article reinforced my belief that community involvement benefits both the individuals and the community as a whole. The second article by Crouch and colleagues, published in 2017, focuses on military spouses living overseas. Although it doesn't directly examine volunteerism, but it demonstrates that social connectedness plays an important role in the health and well-being of military families. This specific article helped me to understand how building supportive relationships can improve resilience throughout the military life cycle. Altogether, these articles provided valuable feedback and information regarding how it strengthened my interest in studying that volunteer participation contributes to stronger and healthier communities. Based on the information that I've learned throughout this course, I would use quantitative survey research methods to help answer my research questions. As Dr. Crawford explains, quantitative research focuses on collecting numerical data to identify patterns, test relationships, and answer questions objectively. Survey research is especially useful because it allows researchers to gather standardized information that can be analyzed statistically. I believe surveys would allow me to collect information from a large number of military families and individuals and community members in a consistent way. If I were conducting this study today, I would develop an anonymous online survey that would be distributed to military families and community members who participate within those volunteer activities. The survey would begin with basic demographic questions such as age, military affiliation, and how long they have lived in their current community or local area. Participants could also be asked how often they volunteer, the types of volunteer activities they participate in, and approximately how many volunteer hours that they have accumulated within a month. To help better understand community resilience and social connectedness, I would also include several Likert scale questions that ask participants to rate their level of agreement with statements such as, I feel connected to my community, I have people I can rely on when I need help, I feel welcomed and included in my community, and I know where to find community resources when I need them. These questions could help to measure each participant's overall sense of belonging and the strength of their support network. I also think it would be interesting and valuable to ask participants whether volunteering has influenced their overall well-being. And by doing so, I can ask questions including, volunteering has improved my sense of purpose. Volunteering has helped me build meaningful relationships. Volunteering has increased my confidence. And because of volunteering, I feel more supported by community. To understand the broader impact of community involvement, I would also ask whether participants feel their community is supportive of military families and whether they believe community organizations, whether private or military focused, provide adequate opportunities for involvement. Finally, I would also include questions about overall life satisfaction and emotional well-being, such as whether participants feel less isolated, whether they believe they have a strong support system during difficult times, and how confident they are that someone in their community would help them if they needed assistance. Collecting this information would allow me to examine whether high levels of volunteer participation are associated with stronger social connectedness, increased community support, and overall greater well-being. Dr. Ray Crawford illustrates that one of the greatest strengths of quantitative research is the ability to produce objective and dependable results. Because everyone's answers the same questions utilizing standardized surveys, researchers can compare responses and identify meaningful trends. Meaning, if the sample is large enough, the findings may also be generalized to a larger population, which could help impact the military service community as a whole. Another strength is overall emphasis on validity. Dr. Crawford also explains that validity gives researchers confidence that they are measuring what they intend to measure. He also explains that internal validity is especially important because it helps determine whether results are actually caused by the variables being studied rather than outside influences. There are also limitations. Surveys cannot fully explain people's personal experiences or emotions. Participants misunderstand questions or answer based on what they think is socially acceptable rather than honestly respond. And most importantly, response bias can affect the quality of data. These issues can reduce both the reliability and validity of the study. Reliability refers to the consistency of research results. If the same survey were given to similar participants under similar conditions, researchers would expect to receive similar results. Standardized surveys help improve reliability because everyone is asked the same questions in the same way. Validity refers to whether the research actually measures what it is intended to measure. Internal validity is important because it helps researchers determine whether volunteer participation is actually contributing to greater community resilience and social connectedness, rather than those outcomes being influenced by unrelated factors. Also, if I were conducting this research, I would create an anonymous online survey for military families and community members who participate within volunteer activities. To gather this data, I believe that one challenge would be recruiting enough participants from different military communities to create a representative sample. Another challenge would be encouraging participants to answer honestly and completely and openly. After collecting the surveys, I would use descriptive statistics to calculate averages, percentages, and frequencies. I would also like to examine whether there is a relationship between volunteer participation and feelings of community connectedness using correlation-related analysis. I believe that this approach would be appropriate because it allows researchers to identify measurable patterns across a large group of participants. In closing, my research question is, how does volunteer participation contribute to community resilience and social connectedness? Based on what I've learned in this course, I believe quantitative research is the best method for answering this question because it provides objective, measurable data from a large number of participants. Although there are various challenges and strengths within these approaches, these findings could help provide valuable information that help community organizations and social workers create stronger programs that better serve military families and their communities. Thank you for listening.